We'll move on to the fourth game, which was dubbed by El Sacchio before Southampton's win against Manchester City by a certain member of the panel, which we won't name on the podcast here, but we'll take a look at the betting as you have it on matchbook.com. Everton 2.34, Southampton 3.45, the same price for the draw in the match odds. You can currently back yes, both teams to score 1.92. No is available at 2.02. Southampton getting a half a goal start in the Asian handicap line at 1.73, and the total is 2.25. So we'll go to you on this one, Miguel, in terms of this game and how to set it up. Look, Frank Lampard's Everton, I would have said to you maybe a month before the World Cup that he was starting to build something with those fans. That seems to have completely evaporated since the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel for a while they kind of tapped in to this resilience that's kind of characterized this defiance that has felt like one of Everton's few positive features over the past few years. Is kind of so much has crumbled at the club, but that can't last indefinitely. Now we're seeing, I suppose, what many would describe as flaws in how Lampard manages. And this does just have the feel, though, of, I mean, Moshiri did come out and back Lampard on the eve of this game. So I suppose that removes a certain amount of pressure. But this does have the feel that because of everything around it, it's going to be one of those it's a 1-0 either way, basically. It's going to be a tense game, players making mistakes, cagey. So I'm going for both teams not to score. Basically, I think it'll be 1-0 either way. Southampton will be buoyed by what happened in midweek against Manchester City, but equally that can go the other way, where suddenly it almost creates a false sense of security, or they're kind of on the wave of the City win, and then they're kind of vulnerable. They don't have that necessary bite because they've just had that the massive positive of getting to the League Cup semi-final. But I would go for 1-0 either way. I'm not confident enough to say which one, so I think the safest is both teams to score no.
Yeah, that's currently priced at 2.0, and at 1.91 mark is the other direction. There's been a lot of agreement in the podcast so far, but you feel there will be goals in this game. Is that either team you're angling specifically for that, or just maybe both teams defensively?
Both teams defensively, and also the gravity of the situation they're both in. Just 6 Premier League wins in 36 between them. There is obviously a very big chance that this could be a slugfest. I'm well aware of that. But I don't want to touch Everton. They've lost 3 on the spin at Goodison. They've only won twice at home all season, which is normally their bedrock. Their goals conceded column is now starting to reflect the chances that they have conceded this season. They started the campaign dramatically overperforming in that sense, but they've conceded now 17 goals in the last 10. And also, they've just won twice at home in those 9 games at Goodison, but they've yet to face neither Arsenal or Manchester City either. So, Frank Lampard is under enormous pressure. There's going to be protests at Goodison Park this weekend. I've got Everton bottom or second bottom across every single metric you can look towards: expected points, expected goals, shots on target, attempts, etc. And they are playing a Southampton team who had lost 6 on the spin in the Premier League before their 2 cup wins, which have certainly changed the mood around Saints. 2 of their 3 wins so far this season have come away against fellow bottom 8 outfits, but both were under Hasenhüttl's reign. So they're better placed now after what's happened midweek. I agree with Miguel that almost the win against Man City could almost be a negative in the sense that there's a bit of fatigue mentally and physically. And there could easily be a drop-off here. Everton will be absolutely up for this game. Lampard will, his team are desperate for points here. They're going to appreciate the situation and the opposition. They will see this as a huge opportunity to get points on the board. And I think similarly with Southampton, they should be buoyed after the last week. And there's absolutely no fear about going to Goodison Park at the minute and playing Everton. So, being to Selhurst Park and beating Palace in the FA Cup last weekend. So I think they absolutely can make their mark on my Merseyside. So for that reason, I just think because of the situation, the fact that neither can defend either, as you say, they've kept 5 clean sheets between them in 36 Premier League games. And that's, they've been quite fortunate to get those 5 clean sheets as well at times. So I'm just going to go on the presumption that both teams give it a right good go, see this as a winnable opportunity. And hopefully, it's not the sort of 6-pointer with just 3 or 4 games left to play. We aren't even at the halfway stage of the season. So there's still a bit of wriggle room for teams to be a bit more expansive and try and get the win.
Yeah, and over to you, Adrian, maybe a little bit on Southampton. Nathan Jones, of course, we found out, a former teammate of yourself. How do you think he's done so far? That was obviously a massive win for him last night.
Oh, well, it's a tough start. It's a really difficult gig. He couldn't say no to it. Clearly, it was an opportunity of a lifetime, but he's inherited an imbalanced squad with probably too many young players, not enough goal threats, certainly not enough pace or power for the style of football that he wants to play. So it's going to be tough, but what a good week. Excellent win at Palace, and then he's backed it up, beating City. I mean, City didn't have a shot on target. There's not many teams do that against Manchester City. So you have to say he's organised the team well. I think Lavia coming back into the central midfield is a big plus for them. And I think they'll take a lot of heart and confidence from that win. Well, they should do. And that's important because they didn't have any confidence previously. So, yeah, look, Southampton plus a quarter is something that I looked at. Given Everton have had 3 bad defeats in a row at Goodison, the mood's a little bit toxic there. 1.97 you can get on the Saints plus a quarter of a goal. It's not my selection, but that's something to consider if you wanted to go with them. I'm a bit more Miguel than Mark, I've got to say on this one, in terms of the type of game I expect. I think because of the pressure, because neither team is exactly full of goals, I do think I favour a lower scoring affair. I kind of want to put up 2 bets if I can. 0-0 at half time, so under 0.5 goals in the first half. It's quite an attractive 2.84. I think it's likely. I think it's the most likely halftime score is 0-0. These are 2 of the lowest scoring first half teams. They've managed 6 and 5 first half goals respectively this season, which is the lowest of anyone in the division. And with the stakes so high, I think they might, shadow box for the first 45 minutes. So that's one to absolutely think about. And over the course of 90 minutes, I favour under 2.5 goals at 1.82. Covers off the 0-0. It covers off Miguel's picks of 1-0 either way. And obviously it also covers off 1 apiece, which this could absolutely be. And I think that's probably the scoreline that Mark's got in his head when he's putting up both teams to score. So under 2.5 goals for me. Under 2.5 goals, yeah, will be my main pick. But 0-0 at half time, I think that's a decent price.
Yeah, fun one. I wouldn't say fun one to cheer on, but make sure you're not watching the game if you're going to the first half. Maybe tune in for the second half if you have that. So Mark's gone both teams to score yes, 1.91. Miguel, both teams to score no, 2.0. Adrian's put up the under first half goals at 2.84, but we might lock in that under 2.5 goals at 1.82 because I can see a 1-0, 1-all sort of thing. So that kind of covers us a small bit.